Happy Monday, guys. I gotta take a shower because your girl rode Peloton. I did an M&M ride with Dennis Morton because, hello, there's a concert this Sunday. I think people might toss a football around from time to time, but there's a concert this week. So I wanted to do that. I want to show you my carpet and I want to tell you a little bit of the story. And I want to give you a little bit of words of inspiration to start your week off. While I am thinking about it, look. This is all that's left, little teeny tiny, and that's just because I just washed my face. But look, they did a good job. All right, let me get dressed. All right, I want to tell you a quick story about this carpet, and then I want to talk to you about stop blaming people, right? That's legitimately what this vlog is about. But Paul and I went to return some things at UPS, big old boxes. And so we walk into UPS, literally the store UPS, not like in a Staples or in a grocery store. No, just the actual standalone UPS store. And when we pulled up, this lady pulled up in this cute little sports car, and she had this rug wrapped up, kind of hanging out the window kind of thing. And so as she came in, literally it was like something you would see in a show. Like the door opened, the rug fell, she almost fell on top of it. I'm like, oh my God, let me help you. She's like, you don't have to, but I appreciate it. So as I'm looking at the rug, and Paul and I had like a lighter green rug in here, it still looked great, but we had it for a while. We had talked about getting in a rug for the area, and but it wasn't like, have to do it today, right? And so I was like, well, what does it look like? So first of all, she shows me her house. When I tell you, it was like the chef's kiss. Like it was like, if I designed the house for me, this is what it would look like. And so I knew that it would be the style that we wanted. And so she pulled it up on Amazon. She said she paid $170 for it, which was already cheaper than our last rug. It's $170 and it's an 8x10 rug. And so I looked at it, we fell in love with it, and we bought it. So we bought our rug from UPS. And I tell you this because always keep your head on a swivel, always be open to options. I'm going to show you this, and then I want to talk to you about not blaming other people for where you are right now. Look at the rug. Isn't it perfect? Look how pretty it is. Yes. Yes. So yes, go to UPS store. You'll buy yourself a rug. We're sitting in the car because I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my steam wand. I mean, there's something wrong with it, but I'm not sure what it is. So I'm at Dunkin'. So I had to come. They still have my pumpkin spice because they love me. I realize it's February and I'm still drinking pumpkin spice because I'm that girl. And I wanted to talk to you today about not living in your trauma. Now listen, this is not to invalidate your trauma. Yes, everything that you've gone through is very real to you. But where it becomes problematic is when you're staying there. When you're holding on to that anger, holding on to those grudges, staying in that space where you've walled off, which is why it's a process, right? You're not just going to watch this and be like, okay, that's easy. It's not easy, but you have to process it. And in order to process it, it's allowing yourself not to go into the blame game. It's real easy to say, this person calls me trauma, this person made my life hell, this person did this, or this situation caused this. All valid for you, feel it. But when you're holding on to that and then saying, well, I'm this way now because of all this stuff that happened and I'm just stuck. Now, granted, you might not know where to start. That's why you're here. So, hey, welcome. You can book a session with me, or you don't even have to do that. Just keep focusing on yourself. Focus inward on yourself, right? But because here's the deal. I did that game, right? I did that game not even knowing I was doing it, where from all of the abuse and from feeling as though I got this bad hand and that everybody in the world owed me something. I'm doing an entire chapter on this anger, hurt, loneliness, fear, everything that I lived in for a little bit of time, right? And on top of that, you throw in my anxieties and then my severe depressions that would creep up. And then I felt like somebody owed me something for that, and not owed me something, but they should walk on eggshells. They should make me feel better. And that's not the case. So if you find yourself living in the trauma, you see it, feel it. That's the thing. You try to avoid it. You avoid it because it brings you problems. It brings you stress. It brings you fear. That's why you don't really always do it on your own, right? Until you have some tools, because especially if you're working with me, I'm going to trigger you on purpose, right? Because on the other side of that is where the power is. So in my case, I do my profession based on the pain that I had. So you want to focus on pulling power and inspiration from the pain. Okay, yes, it's a process, because I promise you that if you keep holding on to the trauma itself, like everything about the trauma, the anger, the grudges and all that stuff, if you're holding on to that, everybody is winning. except for you. Whoever it is that's caused this trauma on you or situation, they're winning. You're not. And you think that you're protecting yourself. You're not. You're imprisoning yourself. The same walls that protect are the same walls that imprison. And that's so important for you to understand. And so where to start? Everybody's like, where do you start? Well, A is accepting that. Because there's a lot of people who want to get out of their trauma, but they don't want to get out of their trauma because for so many years they lived in the remnants of that trauma. And that's what they know. So they want to feel better, but they don't really want to feel better because that's new. So number one, you have to come to that realization that that's what you want. That's exactly what you want, is that you want to feel better. And in that process means you're going to have to bring stuff to the surface, even things you don't want to bring up. Working, time, lots of time, patience, taking steps back, taking steps forward, taking steps back, taking steps forward. Being consistent, that's the key. Consistency is always the key. Okay. And it's so imperative that you start doing that. And if you look at the pain part of it and you stay in the woe is me, like I said, did that, bought the shirt, not fun. It really is overwhelming. So allow yourself to sit in the space of saying, okay, I'm going to feel better. And because again, and I will always say this, your trauma and your situation it's like, that's not your responsibility, but healing it is. So the longer you hold on to the anger, the longer you hold on to the grudges, the longer you hold on to all of these things, you're just imprisoning yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors. Okay. That's why boundaries come into play. Because when you release that, you still don't need these people around you, but you don't do it out of animosity, hurt, or fear. Okay. So that's your day. I want you to really focus on that. If you find yourself staying stuck in that and you feel some kind of way about your traumas, let me know in the comments. Okay. And we'll maybe expand on that even more. So have a great week.